So we move on to the Zaporizhzhia Front. So this is the Zaporizhzhia city. This is the city, and this is the front line. And there's fighting over these front line regions. Russians are attacking Ukrainian forces at Nestyanka. This is actually more like a positional. And then there is also reported fighting south of Chervony, according to the Ukrainian sources. Russians are attacking at Verbove, northwest of Verbove, as well as Robotyne. The Ukrainian forces counterattack at Robotyne. There's a bit of things to really talk about in this region here. More and more indications shows that the Russian forces have been ejected entirely out of Robotyne. They have totally out of it. The latest is actually the Ukrainian Defense Ministry mentioning about fighting west of Novoprokopivka. And this is actually very, very weird because Novoprokopivka is here. This is Novoprokopivka. And to mention fighting in this area here is a bit weird that the Russians are pushing in this direction, which means that the Ukrainians may have re-established control along all these front lines. And there is no doubt that the Russians did enter Robotyne and actually went very far. But it looks like they did not manage to hold, that the Ukrainians managed to push them out, or the Russians do not dare to stay inside. Because staying in position is always a way to die. Which is why trench warfare is such a surprise in this war. Because no one expected trenches to be still so relevant in today's age. So that's a bit weird. So the Ukrainians reported this attack on the western part of Novoprokopivka. So my assumption right now is the Russians are pushed out. Ukrainians have actually managed to secure the line. Tentatively, there is no indications that the Ukrainians have captured this entrenchment on the south eastern part of Robotyne just yet. So we will continue to monitor. Firm Ukrainian positions is located here. This is actually an airstrike, if I'm not wrong. Yep, it's an airstrike. So we will continue to monitor. The Russians are pushing in these directions. They are trying to push out from Verbove region. So the situation remains to be very dynamic, and the Ukrainians have done a good job superseding my expectation that the entire salient may fall, because the Russians have made such a huge push, and it can mean two different things, but I will talk about it in the conclusions. So that's all from the from this Zaporizhzhia region. There is some shelling reported at Novoprokopivka, but no, nothing important. We move on into the Donetsk front.